lot of people are using MP3 players to carry around their music collections these days. But what exactly is an MP3 player? An MP3 is just the name of a computer song file. An MP3 player is a device to keep these songs on and bring them anywhere. If you want to use one, you will need access to a computer. There are different types of MP3 players. If you're getting one, it's worth looking at the options. Frank is looking to buy an MP3 player for his father for his birthday. He's decided to get him an Apple iPod.
Hi, are you okay there? Would you like any help or anything?
Yeah, that'd be great actually. I want to buy an iPod for my dad,
right,
basically, as a birthday present. I was wondering if you could just tell me what's available these days.
Well, at the moment we have the 1 gig iPod Shuffle.
Right.
You have the 2 and 4 gig Nano, and then you'd have the 30 and the 80 gig video iPod.
Debbie mentioned the word gig, which is short for gigabyte. This is a unit of measurement that describes the size of a storage device. Debbie said the iPod Shuffle was 1 gig. That means it could hold about 25 CDs worth of music. The iPod Nano was 4 gigs and could hold about 100 CDs. And finally, the iPod Video Debbie showed would hold a staggering 2,000 CDs worth of music.
Okay, let's go with an iPod Nano, so that's great. Brilliant.
Thanks a million.
Thanks a million. See you again. Hey, Dad. Happy birthday.
Hi, love.
Having a good day?
Yeah.
Brought you a present.
Thanks very much. Oh, iPod, I've heard of them now. What does it do?
For music, you can put your music on it, listen to it on headphones, hook it up to the stereo. Do you know?
Sounds good. Will you show me how to do it?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, of course. Do you want to have a look at the laptop?
Yeah.
To transfer music onto your MP3 player, you first put it on a computer using software such as iTunes.
Is it from my CDs now that...
Yeah, we can put your CDs into iTunes, and then you can put them all on the iPod. This is your library. This is where your music will appear, and you'll be able to just select the songs from here and play them. And you can see the controls here are pretty much the same as you'd see on a stereo. You've got the play button,
Right.
fast forward button, rewind button, and this is your volume control. So the next thing we need to do is hook up the iPod. See this cable here?
All right.
So that guy goes into the bottom of the iPod, and the other end goes into the USB slot there at the back of the machine.
Right.
So all we have to do now is get some music into iTunes. So we pop in a CD, and iTunes will realize that we've put in a CD, and because we're connected to the internet,
Yeah.
it's actually gone online and it's pulled down all the names of the songs automatically. You can see it says here, would you like to import the CD into your iTunes library?
Right.
And we click yes.
So, we're actually copying the CD now, and
Yep.
is that legal?
It is. I mean, it's your CD that you've bought, so you can legally put the music onto iTunes for use on your iPod.
Once you've put music onto your computer, you can create playlists to organize your music in the order you want to listen to it, song by song.
When you're listening to your iPod, you can choose the music you want to listen to, or you can choose by artist or by album. So there's all the albums in your library. Or you can even choose to listen to by the type of music. You see?
So if you want to enter the world of digital music, all you need to do is get an MP3 player, put your music onto a computer, and then transfer it to the MP3 player. You'll get a lot more from your music when you're in control of it.
Christy, do you think the internet and iPods and all of those technical advances we saw there in music is a good way of keeping up with new bands?
It is, especially if you don't want to go out and buy records. It's nice to just...
You can just download.
You can download it, yeah. And download the song you want rather than buying a whole album, which 90% of it's probably rubbish. And you just want that one song.
Unless it's a Christy Hennessy.
Well, exactly, yes. Thank you there, Claire.
Of course, the internet is brilliant for all sorts of things, isn't it?
Excellent.
Would you use it a lot?
I used it there now 3 weeks ago. Just typed in my brother's name.
Yeah.
And it got a big, massive printout on it that I never even knew was on the internet.
Why was he there?
He makes pipes.
Ah, fantastic.
Yeah, he teaches uilleann pipes, he
Uilleann
makes pipes, yeah. And I never even knew. I just said, I'll type in this now and we'll see what will happen.
And
Now comes the big print.
Did you find out stuff you didn't know about him?
Well, I didn't. I know it, like, but I didn't expect it to be on the internet.
Yeah. You're interested in writing as well, aren't you?
Yeah, we done a student writing book last year.
What
At
was
the end of our term.
Yeah.
We all wrote a story and we wrote a small little poem each. I wrote a piece about it. A very special friend of mine who died of cancer.
Yeah.
And I wrote all about her life and how I got to know her and to the last minute when she died.
Brilliant. Did that help you get over her death, do you think?
It did,
writing
oh
about
God, it did, yeah. And then I wrote a lovely little poem about birds and the tree. So we called it student writing. A new beginning, that's what we called it. On the front of the cover, then we opened the door with a handle, which was lovely now.
Brilliant, because that's what
all
this learning
obviously
is doing,
learning was. And basically, in the class I'm in, everyone started where I started. There's no one was higher than me or lower than me. We were all just the same class.
And is that something that you wouldn't have done before in the past?
I wouldn't, no. It's just, I was just said I'd go on a scheme and see what happens.
Your own son is doing his leaving cert.
He is, Dean is doing his leaving cert.
Yes. Do you find you can be of any help to him?
I can, yeah. Now I can, yeah.
How?
Even though he could be a lot of help to me as well.
Yeah, really, when you were doing
we were doing
our
junior cert together, it was so funny. He said, Ma'am, do you know what we'll do? We'll put £5 a week. Well, whoever gets the highest gets the €100. Of course he got it, I didn't. But it just gives him inspiration as well.
Did you do your homework at the same time?
We do our homework
out
at the
with
same
the books?
out with the books. She sits there, he sits here, and I sit here.
Fantastic.
You know, it's just I don't want him to leave school like I left school.
Yeah. And he's not?
And he's not, no. He hasn't a notion of leaving until he has his leaving done.
Christy, with your children, when they were small and started to come home with homework, did you find that difficult?
Really difficult. And in my head, I just prayed they get best education they could and get to go to college, which thank God the three of them have, so, and university. So
thank God.
Yeah.
Great.
So
it didn't hold them back in any way?
No, it didn't, no. And I could give them something as well that was letting go, because, you know, it does get all tight and they can't express themselves maybe as good as I could in some things, because it's a freedom, because I don't have to apply to this little sheet of music, for instance, where they do, you know. So I can give them the freedom of saying, just learn it and then let go, you know, just play it from your heart rather than from the...
So maybe you thought that you weren't a great help with their homework, but they have learned a lot from you.
So they tell me now. So.
Well, musicians learn that certain chords work well together. Learning scales and musical rules help tunes become songs. But like music, language is full of rules and exceptions to those rules. Sometimes we come across tricky words that just don't look like they're spelt correctly, but actually are. Have a look at this and see.
When we are trying to figure out how to spell a word, the sound of the word can sometimes help, but it doesn't always work. A word like lamb sounds as if it's written like this.
L-A-M.
But it's actually spelled
L-A-M.
The B at the end of the word is silent. Lamb. The B is also silent in words like plumber and debt. This happens quite a lot in English, and it's not just the letter B. In the word half, the L is silent. In listen, the T is silent. And in knee, the K is silent. There are no easy rules to help remember how to spell these words. You just have to learn them. One technique which can help is to first look at the word you want to remember. Say it aloud.
Lamb. Lamb.
Then cover it. Write it from memory. And check that you've spelled it correctly. If not, go through the steps again. Look. Say.
Lamb.
Cover. Write. Check.
Well, if you'd like to know a little more about silent letters, there's extra help at hand in the form of a free workbook that goes with the series. To get your free workbook, you can free phone the number on your screen, 1800 20 20 65. That's 1800 20 20 65. Or you can visit our website, www.rug.ie. Of course, silent letters create problems for both native and non-native speakers in any language, as they make it more difficult to guess the spelling of spoken words or the pronunciations of written words. But the more we get used to them, eventually we hardly notice them. Here are some more pointers.
Many words in English contain silent letters, like lamb, where the B is silent, or half, where the L is silent. You might find it useful to keep a page in your learning journal for words with silent letters. You can write the words in separate lists, depending on which letter is silent. Like words where the L is silent, like Pam and half. Or wrong and right, as in write a letter, where the W is silent. Some people find it useful to pronounce words the way they are spelled, just to help them remember the spelling.
Knee is spelled knee, K-N-E-E. Knife is spelled knife, K-N-I-F-E.
You know that this isn't really how they're pronounced, but it helps you remember the correct spelling. Words with silent letters are like all spellings. The more you practice, the more likely you are to remember them.
Christy, when you're travelling abroad, and you would have done a lot of that on tour, did you find it difficult to make your way around new cities, or was there always help at hand?
I'd always have a little bit of paper telling me where to go, and I just asked people. So.
Yeah, and did you find they were obliging?
Yeah, 99% of people are very nice.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Tell me, do you have any, are there tours coming up?
Yeah, start off just outside Tralee and then go to Belfast and go to Dublin, everywhere.
Yeah. When you're in Tralee, will there be any names on the guest list, do you think?
They'll be lucky to be anybody paying.
Well, I know a certain friend of yours who'd be...
Marguerite, oh yeah, she'd run barefooted.
Liz, what about your plans?
Well, I'm going to CCL College in Limerick City in September, please God. And I'm just going to do my junior cert in English and Maths in the higher level this year. I keep doing my computers.
Brilliant. And get your son through
and get my son to do his leaving, yeah.
And stop playing so much soccer.
And that's it then, yeah.
Well, thanks very much, and best of luck with that as well. And that's it for today and for the series. We'd like to thank our guests for coming in, to Liz O'Donoghue, and also very much to Christy Hennessy. We'd also like to thank all of those who took part in the series, and especially to those who shared their learning journeys with us. Don't forget to look up the series website, where you can watch all 24 episodes of the series online. And don't forget to call our free phone. The line is always open, and you can order workbooks and get support by calling this number for free at any time. From the Really Useful Guide team, good luck with your studies.
For your free student pack and workbook, free phone 1800 20 20 65. That's 1800 20 20 65. Or you can go online and visit www.rug.ie or write to The Really Useful Guide to Words and Numbers, care of Nala, 76 Lower Gardner Street, Dublin 1.